Squeeze it in, squeeze it in. What's up, everybody? It's Biggs and Grindberg. It's the Fantasy Forecast with Grindberg and Biggs. We're trying to squeeze this show in. We're squeezing it in. We got waiver wire pickups. It's first week of the playoffs for some of y'all. Second week of the playoffs for some of us. Playoffs start next week for some others. But yeah, we're here for you. So let's do this.
Yeah, man. It's a crazy week of football this weekend was. I think
Crazy.
It was a lot of buys, some injuries, but also some crazy games that went down. And it's going to go down as one of the weeks that, surprised many of us. And, there were a lot of games that had some surprising finishes, like the Dallas Cowboys coming in and beating the Commanders out of nowhere. That was an interesting game down to the end, a missed field goal, missed extra point. These things come down to the wire. We could actually have even more fantasy points. But Biggs, it's our waiver wire show, and we're getting into crunch time, and there's not much left out there. But a couple guys surprised this week, and let's get into that. I'll start us off here with
you started off.
I will. I'm going to start us off. I'm going to go with Noah Gray at the tight end position, and he's been pretty intriguing the last couple of weeks here. He's had significant rise in production. He caught 4 passes, 66 yards, and 2 touchdowns versus the Panthers in Week 12. He actually had 2 touchdowns the week before, and now he's looking like he's been put into a position where he's going to be able to play in that Chiefs offense as kind of a streamer at the tight end position looking from now on. His value is trending up, making him an appealing option. 4 touchdowns, like I said, in 2 weeks, 66 yards on 4 targets. The Raiders matchup coming up, they rank 32nd against tight ends. And, I'm looking at this as a guy that I could probably even get into my lineup this week if things are really, really tight out there for you in the tight end position. Biggs, what do you got in like the quarterback tight end streamer line here for us?
Well, last week I made a joke about Noah Gray because 2 touchdowns, and then he had another one this week. So anyway, So I'm looking at my free agents board on ESPN.com, and right at the top is Isaiah Pacheco. So go ahead and check your board, because if Isaiah Pacheco is available, he didn't play this last weekend, but go grab him. Next guy on my list is Darnell Mooney. We talked about him on the show. I had him as a top 24 wide receiver for 2024, and he's right there. And then right after that is Jordan Addison. So, you guys, go grab these people. Keenan Allen had a touchdown. Jaylen Warren had a pretty good game. Christian Watson, Jonnu Smith. There are so many guys on this waiver wire list that you need to go grab. Right now, my priority is Taysom Hill, because he has that quarterback and tight end eligibility. The New Orleans Saints are back next week, and the way that he is being utilized in this offense when he's healthy is pretty freaky for fantasy football. So my waiver wire priority this week is Taysom Hill, so go grab him.
There you go. And if he's still out there, absolutely go grab him up in those shallower leagues. Now let's move on to the wide receiver here, and I'm going to get a guy here that just kind of came off the board and had a pretty good week against the Chiefs, catching 6 of 10 targets, 81 yards and a touchdown. And David Moore is a guy that, he's been in the league a little while here. He's 31 years old. He hasn't had a history of being consistent, but looking like he's seen an uptick in usage combined with favorable matchups headed in here. And Adam Thielen's health is definitely something that we're going to have to keep an eye on. He came back and looked pretty good, but it was David Moore with his 10 targets that looked like the guy that was leading the charge there. He had a touchdown reception, meaning that they're going to be looking for him in the red zone. That was a 1-yard touchdown. 4 targets per game over the last 2 weeks. So he's on the rise. So his value has been inconsistent, and these are a deep league play here. So if you see a guy like David Moore on your waiver wire and you're in a deep league, I would be looking for him because he's seen some upside. And this is an offense that is on the rise. It looks like the Panthers have looked okay, and I said to myself, this looked like a trap game for my Chiefs, and they didn't look great against them. And Carolina looked okay, so they looked pretty good this week.
Yeah, and if you kind of delve into David Moore's career a little bit, he had a late season surge in 2023, and he's starting to do it again in 2024. He's not a guy that's on anybody's lists, but it sure looks like towards the end of seasons, and especially in fantasy playoffs, David Moore starts to do some stuff in the late weeks of the season. So he's definitely somebody to keep your eye on.
Yeah, man. Do you got any wide receivers that outside of the big names that you mentioned there? But
I mean,
maybe
apart from the fact that Darnell Mooney, Keenan Allen, Jordan Addison, and Christian Watson are all on the list right now. Those are guys that definitely should be on rosters
for sure
this point in the season. And so if you make sure that you go and check your waiver wire and grab those dudes. So yeah, my waiver pickups this week on ESPN.com are Jordan Addison, Darnell Mooney, Keenan Allen, and Christian Watson.
All right, man. Okay, so let's move on to the running backs then. And Jeremy McNichols is emerging as a guy that I want to pick up, especially with a couple injuries that are looming in the Commanders offense. Brian Robinson Jr. did not play this week. It looked like he was good. Like he did play, but he left the game. Same with Austin Eckler, with Robinson nursing that ankle injury and Eckler suffering a concussion. It looks like McNichols might see a significant role in Washington's backfield this upcoming week. And he doesn't do too bad, when he's given the opportunities. His matchup, though, against the Titans isn't ideal, but McNichols has proven he can be effective when given the opportunity, making him a viable short-term solution for those in running back need. So 20 fantasy points in week 4, showing he has that upside. They've used him in the red zone. Double-digit fantasy points in 2 games this season, and that's behind Eckler and Robinson. So when he has the opportunity, he has shown that he can be viable. No fumbles. He's been versatile, and it's kind of like the next man up situation. So Jeremy McNichols is a guy I'm looking at as a potential lead in here for the Washington Commanders backfield as they nurse their guys back to health. And after, stumbling against the Cowboys here, they definitely have to keep their foot on the gas, and McNichols could potentially be that next man up guy.
Well, Brian Robinson looked like he suffered a fairly significant injury, left the game, then he came back and he played in the game some more. So I wouldn't be too worried about him. Jeremy McNichols is definitely like a guy that you should have just in case if something happens this week and Brian Robinson is not okay to go. But I'm staring at my waiver board, and I'm looking at Isaiah Pacheco at the very top. And again, he didn't play this week, but he's going to be available this coming Sunday or Friday as the Chiefs play the Raiders on Friday. And Isaiah Pacheco is somebody that I'm absolutely going to make a waiver claim on. In fact, Trey Benson and Antonio Gibson are also on this waiver board, and I'm grabbing them too. But Isaiah Pacheco is definitely my priority.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, we know what his role is, and it kind of looks like Kareem Hunt has slowed down after, kind of a good start with the Chiefs. But, he's an older back, and some wear and tear here has gone on him. And it looks like the Chiefs aren't afraid to give Pacheco, the brunt of the litter here when he does play, when he is at full health, right? You know what I mean? So let's go on Isaiah Pacheco. Now, quickly hit up on Antonio Gibson, because we saw Ramondre Stevenson's workload go up and down all year this year. Now, Gibson came in, in relief here of Ramondre when he struggled in the game. What's your overlook on Ramondre Stevenson moving forward?
I still like Ramondre as the main dude in that backfield, but Antonio Gibson had some usage this week that kind of made me pause and look at him a little bit closer. He did have 6 carries. He had 1 reception. That's pretty much been the standard over the last month. Five carries, 4 carries, 6 carries, and a couple of catches. But if at any point the Patriots think that they need to cut down on Ramondre's workload, Antonio Gibson's snap share is going to go up, and you're going to want to have him on your roster, especially during these playoffs.
Yeah. Okay. Good call here. Now, I want to talk one more before we leave it. Everybody, our viewers go. We talk about these waiver wire pickups, and we talked about a guy months ago, and both of us weren't super high on him headed into this season, and now it's coming like in the rookie draft. We had our skepticism about Bucky Irving, and now he's coming in and he's showing out. What is your thoughts now on him rest of season? Is he just an automatic start for us moving forward?
No, he's definitely a matchup guy, but the Buccaneers have a pretty good schedule as far as matchups are concerned through the fantasy playoffs. So he's definitely somebody that I want on my bench, and plugging him in at the right time. I still am a huge Rachaad White truther. But yeah, Bucky Irving he's playable, especially like coming down the stretch right now.
Yeah, but he's getting, the quality touches coming off that bye. I thought it would have been Rachaad White after, how well he looked headed into the bye, right? It looked like Rachaad White was taking his role back. Now it looks like Bucky's taking it back. It might just be the yo-yo for the rest of the season, like you mentioned, and we just got to keep our minds open to that as well, because we seem to be in fantasy football always going with the hot hand, what the latest trend is. And this week was Bucky, so everybody's back on the Bucky train. And next week it could easily be back to Rachaad White.
Back on the Bucky train.
Exactly. So, proceed with caution. Both are very startable players, especially in flex roles, depending on your matchup and whatnot. So, yeah, I like this situation. Biggs, you got anything else to add to our viewers before the waiver wire show wraps up here?
I mean, Darnell Mooney, Jordan Addison, Keenan Allen, Christian Watson, they're all out there. Go grab them.
Yeah, especially in ESPN leagues, those types of leagues that we're trying to, veer you towards, get those guys in your lineup for sure. Yeah. Biggs, tell everybody where to find us like you do at all.
Go to fantasysportsadvice.com and you can find our FSAN app. Go ahead and sign up for your membership. We are on Fantasy Football Advice Network on YouTube as well as Twitter. You can go to dot.cards/BigBonedFFB and find me and all of my links. Twitter, Blue Sky, at BigBonedFFB on Twitter, Big Boned on Blue Sky, at FFCanuck99 on Twitter. Yeah, we're out there and we're waiting for you.
Yes, and we hope you win.
Yeah, except for Mike last week.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. I'm actually hoping for Ladd McConkey to have a monster game.
We'll see what happens today.
In a lot of my leagues. Let's go. Peace out, everybody. Have a good week. We'll see you for the Start and Sit show on Friday. Peace out.
Yeah.
We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to FantasySportsAdvice.com today.